Hello, and welcome back to Sinister Chapters podcast. If you couldn't tell, this was filmed after we've done the interview because we forgot to do an opening. Would you have guessed it? But this is our first installment into a new series that we have started where we are going to be interviewing a few of the authors that will be attending Authors at the Armories in 2025. We are so grateful to be able to be doing this, and we hope that you enjoy. We are starting it off with the absolutely wonderful Sharon Jackson. So we've got a couple questions. So first, would you be able to introduce yourself to us?
Yes. I'm Sharon Jackson. That's my name. And I've recently started writing books, so it's new, relatively. I started publishing in June. I obviously started a lot earlier than that, so yeah, that's what I am. I'm not very good at this.
No, it's so hard to explain yourself sometimes. Like, how do you introduce yourself to someone without just going, "Hi, this is my name"?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really know.
Yeah.
It began because my books were my crime. I have crime scenes in my books. They're my nightmares. That's where it all started. I've been writing them down for quite a while. So lots and lots of years. I have like night terrors, I suppose you could call them. So I just started writing them all down because I used to look them up and thing, and I started writing them into murder scenes to make them useful. So that's where it started, and then it sort of snowballed from
Spiraled from there.
So,
Yeah.
I suppose that's a good way of dealing with them, really. Like, you can just set them from here and just put them somewhere else instead.
They are quite interesting. They're a little bit graphic. I said that's how they are to me.
Yeah.
You think
like,
you
I
have
need
it hard.
the people
I
to
had
see
to
it.
sleep about and see all of that in my head. I'll wake up loads. I'm going to scare someone else with that later.
Perfect.
I won't be
That's
alone.
like every book we read. If it frightens us, that's what I want to know. Like, what's going on in this author's head? Oh, it's all of this.
Perfect.
To be fair, I mediate it. So in one breath it's like horrifying, and the next it's really stupid stuff. Some of it I've done. Some of it has been things that have just come to my mind at the time. So I sort of try and keep the balance by doing really stupid things in between.
You know,
I think
if it gets the writing out there, you know.
Yeah.
I hope.
I think that was our next question. It was what inspired you to start writing. But...
Yeah, I skipped the introduction. I went straight to the next bit. To be fair, I was alpha reading. I read really quick. So I was reading for other people. I have like what you would call, what do they call it? Like I remember a lot of things. I've forgotten what they call it now. But I can scan a page in like no time, and I know what it says. So I read really quick. There is an eidetic memory. That's what they call it.
That is a
superpower.
superpower.
But yeah, so I read really, really quick. And I was reading for somebody else, and she said, "You should read her nightmares. There's something else." And so then it snowballed from that as well.
Oh, God.
I read a lot.
Yeah, that's something that I wish I had. Like, whenever I read a book and someone says to me, "Oh, what was it about?" I'm like, it was great. That's all I can tell you.
To be fair, it comes with its downside. I get through so many books. I had to have Kindle Unlimited because otherwise I'd be living in a cardboard box.
That is awesome.
I can't afford to read how many I can read.
No.
Yeah.
It's a reoccurring problem for all of us.
George, do you want to do the next one?
Yes. So we was going to ask if you could give us a sneak peek into your next release.
My next release? That's a few away. Hold on. I've got it here somewhere.
We've got the notes.
Yeah, I've got. So, what do you want? A sneak peek in, as in read some, or? Or read the back.
Yeah.
Any really, just it'll get people intrigued and.
So it's book 4 that's due out at the end of this month. That's called Before Then Nevermore. So it's it's a series where it all interlinks. So the characters in the ones before still remain. It moves on to the next character. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
So overall, it's a criminal network of sorts. So when one happens, it snowballs into the next, and hence the Haunted Past series. So it revolves around a foster family, one of which is a DI in an MCU unit, and then it brings in his foster family, who were also placed because they were taken from within this network. So as one happens, the next one occurs because it snowballs. So Before Then Nevermore Summer was almost a forgotten name. Her childhood had not been full of rainbows and sunshine. No, with a callous and cruel mother, a father whose occasional affections dive deep beyond the boundaries that society deemed appropriate. Her early years were a nightmare, with real monsters, not the imaginary ones beneath the bed. She'd long given up hope until the day she was rescued, the day that Summer had become Nevermore and Raven was born. Given a new life, she is forbidden from sharing her past, even with those she loves. However, when her new identity is revealed to the man she hides from, the monster emerges to reclaim his lost prize, his bride, the one he bought and paid for. She was taken from him, and he's searched wildly, anticipating the day she is found and returned to where she belongs. Now it is time that she gives him what he is due. She will become the wife he was promised. As the past begins to unravel, those left behind face unexpected threats. Can the MCU team, with help from the Doyle's delinquents, race to piece together Raven's past before he catches her first? That was a mouthful, wasn't it? So that's the newest one.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
A lot happens in that one.
I just like that everything's like, you've really got to like dive in to the characters to really figure out where they've come from.
Yeah, it starts with the first one, which was it's like a nursery rhyme killer sort of thing. So so it started with that, and then it sort of moved on where her identity was revealed because of the previous crime, and it unravelled her crime, and it goes throughout the series. So each book. So they're not cliffhangers per se, but at the end of each book there is how it starts off the events of the next one. Yeah. So it's sort of like a teaser at the end. so the last one is Raven's book. The first 3 are based on Ren and Dev.
Yeah.
And then it moves on throughout the foster family as it proceeds through the series. So, just... and it does have some romance, but it takes a while to build, because obviously crime... So, they're a bit busy.
They've not got the time at the moment.
It takes a while, but it gets there in the end. So it's a slow burning romance between them. Starts with Dev and Ren, and then moves through the others as it goes. So
I do like a slow burn, like, because you've got all this anticipation, but obviously with a crime as well, you constantly try to figure out what crime's going on and whether these two are actually going to do anything together.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't know they were going to. It just sort of happened. The book 4 was actually supposed to be book 7, but I wrote the story of when I was writing book 3. I've got to write her next. I can't leave her like that.
Yeah.
I can't leave her like that. She's got to be next. So it changed the whole order.
Yeah. Sometimes the characters are just like, I'm here. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't write the books. So as I said, it just sort of, I get to sort of the first few chapters, and then they do their own thing. I'm like, I don't know what's going on anymore.
I'm just along for the ride.
I end up writing backwards to figure out how I got to there. So that was not how this was going. Yeah. So
I feel like that's the best way. It turns out chaotic, and you're like, oh, I've written something that's incredible instead.
it's it keeps my editor. 1 minute she's like, oh my god, and then the next minute she's like, oh my god, I cried so hard because I was laughing. I said, I know. I said it jumps about quite a bit. From 1 minute it's like horrific, and then the next
I'm
minute
having
it's
emotions
like
from all
crazy.
sides.
So yeah.
They're the best
books.
books.
What's coming next? So yeah. I like to keep it interesting.
So we have got a question. It might make you think a little bit. So it's, if you could branch out into any other genre, what would it be?
Fantasy. Ta-da.
Okay.
That was quick, wasn't it? I've already started because I've actually finished writing the series. So I've moved on because I had a dream.
It come from another dream.
It came from a dream that I started working through. So I'm actually writing a new series now. This one's still being edited because apparently I'm not the only person in the world. I have to wait.
What will we do?
So yeah, they're editing book 5 at the moment, but I've finished the series. So there are 10 books in total in this series, and I've moved on to a fantasy series that I've just started writing. So that's where I'm going next.
Ooh.
That's a jump from like crime thriller, isn't it, to fantasy.
Yeah, the dreams go where the dreams go.
Yeah, you've just got to follow them wherever they go.
Yeah,
You're just along for the ride at this point.
Yeah. I might write them, but the characters tell me what to do instead.
Yeah.
Right, we've got a good one. Who is your favourite character that you've written so far?
My favourite character to write is Kerry. Kerry is my favourite. Because she just does so many really stupid things. I'll be sitting there going, that's got to be Kerry. Yeah, she's raised by 2 psychopaths. So
Winner.
She doesn't have a line. She has good intentions.
Yeah.
She does things meaning well, and she's really loyal. But she doesn't have the same boundaries as everybody else. So she's just completely out of sync with the others in her way. It's like, right, I mean, in this one, when Raven's just gone, she will get her back, you know. So he was like,
what's the problem?
She was, well, it is if you want it to be. So yeah, she just does really outrageous things and gets away with it because it's always sort of toes a line where she just manages to get away with things she shouldn't, which I quite enjoy. So
that sounds like her kind of character. That
it sounds like a little bit of us.
Yeah,
she has a quite like a back and forth with a Marine. It's an ex-Marine who is very straight-laced, does everything by the book, but has a strategy. Yeah, and she is so completely the opposite to that. They're constantly bickering and arguing. It's quite amusing. That's my favourite part, right, in those two, because they're so far apart.
Yeah, that's usually when like they're complete opposites attract, don't they? And
they have the same goal a lot of the time. Yeah, but they just go about things in completely
different ways.
So yeah,
we have a goal, but it doesn't matter how we got there.
Yeah.
Well, they've got their own book, so they're the Phantom and the Fury. Yeah. And Phantom is the Marines' military name, and they end up together trying to, because they almost die. That's how it works. So they're stuck together, and they have to try and find a way to sort of do things. But she's doing whatever she likes. They start with a plan, and then she just does what she wants.
Yeah. I don't need this plan anymore.
So there's no plan. She just does what she wants. But yeah, so they are.
Well,
amusing.
she sounds like a vibe.
She sounds like a great time.
I know.
She is. Some of my favourite things come from her. So, there was a whole scene with her with a brick where she was going to try and cheer him up, and she couldn't get in. So she smashes the window, and then realises she doesn't fit, so she goes to the next window, which is bigger, and then comes out and he goes, "What are you doing?" She went, "I've come to cheer you up."
It's me.
And he says, "By breaking my windows." She went, "Yeah, it's actually quite therapeutic. Do you want to try?" So it's all
Let's
like,
all have a go.
Like, why? Why would you do that?
Oh.
So yeah.
Oh, I love her already.
Yeah, I have so much fun with her. There is another one with
a chaotic
a
character.
mausoleum, where she decides to go and look inside a mausoleum.
Of course.
And she sees like a hole in a thing and sticks her finger in it. Like, why did you do that? So yeah, there's the whole thing. We have constantly we keep crying over it. I have somebody who follows behind me and reads, and we'll be sitting there and she's going, "That's absolutely perfect for Kerry." But yeah, so she's my favourite to write.
Love that. What a vibe. She sounds like a barrel of laughs.
She really does.
Oh.
So, one of the questions that we do have, nothing to do with writing. What are your hobbies outside of writing?
I have a lot of hobbies.
Nice.
I pick them up, I put them down. I make things a lot of the time. So at the moment I'm making a giant Deadpool. Long story. So I make like caricatures and stuff. I can crochet characters. So when I go to book signings and things like that, I have actual characters that I've made. I make them up. They don't have a pattern. I take the book cover, I take the art, and I can make them into little key rings and things.
Oh.
I also have, because obviously I write crime, and a lot of them have a lot of romance authors. And I was going through the list of things I'd need to take, and they said, "You need peens." And I said, "But I write crime. Why do I need those?" And they said, "Well, it's a thing. We all have them." And so I made themed ones. I said, "I'll do it as a joke, because I'll be honest, it's not really my thing." So I have a whole load of themed ones. I have like a one-eyed, one-horned flying purple peen. I just make up these weird random. My rider peen, that was one of my favourites with a little
Nice.
hat.
Oh, I love that.
What a vibe.
It's like you open your car, George.
I was crying by then. I was like, "No, I'm supposed
Just line them up across the dashboard.
So, yeah, I have a whole load of them. But I also make characters as well. So I've done a few of those. I think Maggie Brown's, I did hers. I think Tammy Bradley's, I think there was a few. I just go through them. Liz Kane, I did Morgan. And yeah, so I just pick the art and then I make them into a little key ring.
Oh, God.
So
I tried to crochet once. I was like, why? Why you no work?
Well, I knit before that.
Yeah.
And somebody said, "Oh, can you do me this?" And I was like, that's crochet. That's not the same at all. The patterns are completely different. So then I spent a month trying to figure it out. And they said, "You should start with squares." I said, "I'm not making squares, am I?"
No, I'm making people and beans.
Squares? That's not going to get me anywhere. So yeah, I just kept watching YouTube and then going to the book until I got the hang of it. And so now I make loads of stuff.
That's so good.
But yeah, I do a lot of weird stuff, to be fair. I did a whole load of diamond paintings as well. I just pick one and go, "Yeah, I'm going to do you today."
I'll have a go at that. That'll be good.
Yeah, come on then.
Yep.
And also I bake, so because I work as a chef, so I do a lot of baking. So I decorate a load of cakes and things. I do a lot of designs for things like that as well. So yeah,
The temptation would be real all the time.
I would love a sweet treat.
I have a bit of an issue with glitter.
Yeah, just constantly.
Cake's great, but I literally, when I go to the toilet, the whole toilet is glitter.
Like, who left that there?
I made a crown. It was a coronation crown. So I made a crown out of edible things and I glittered it to hell. So
It's just an explosion of glitter.
Something. It tasted great, but the glitter.
Yeah.
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 Winner.
But no, that's pretty much all of the questions that we've got. We're just keeping it nice, short, and sweet. But yeah, if there's anything else, that you want to say, or that you'd like for us to put in, or anything like that, now's your time.
It's your time to shine.
My time. don't know.
We've put the pressure on her now.
I know.
What do I want to say? I suppose if I was going to say anything, I would say, obviously, it's about crime, so it's going to have a lot of trigger type things. And a lot of the stories have come from places and things like that, or I've had some issues with them myself in different scenarios or whatever it is. And what I like to focus on is how you can come around from those sorts of things. So things that you can do. In the back of Before Then Nevermore, I have a whole list of help pages and things like that, dealing with particular situations and stuff. So I have like a whole support link thing. Because I do think that sometimes, you know, you can read things and you can find something in them that can help you with your own issues, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You find comfort from knowing that there is a way through some things.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes I'm, you know, that's just me. I read things and I think that they help me. So I sort of hope that I give them hope, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So particularly because it's based around a foster family. They don't end up in foster care for no reason. None of it is because of the foster family. The foster family was really good. For a change, it wasn't the foster family that did it. So a lot of them are issues that they had where they ended up in there. In the first one, Dev is found after a hit and run. He can't remember anything. So he was brought into there not knowing what happened in his past. And hence it then unfolds. So his history comes back and he starts remembering. So yeah, there's a lot of strong content issues in it. Book 4 was like a cult type compoundy thing. So there were, that's what Book 4 is based on. She was sold to a cult.
No, we're a little bit of a sucker for culty things here.
No, it's I do a lot of research. Some of the things I find are worse than the things I was gonna write. So I did. I've got Smiles of Sorrow. I was researching Glasgow Smiles.
Yeah.
And there are things that, like, when I was researching the medical repercussions and things like that, I was finding things that were, like, taken off where they'd been hidden, but when you bring up certain points on the internet, they reappear like magic. And I was like,
hello.
You think if they deleted the content, that would be the end of it, but no, if you type in keywords, you find them again. And I was like, I've got to have that in there because, you know, the police would know this stuff. So I have. I found a dentist called the Glasgow Grin, and I was thinking, I'm never going to that dentist.
No, I will avoid that place at all costs.
That's like, I find out little things, and I think that's actually better than what I found. I researched a lot of nursery rhymes, and I found out a lot of things in those as well, where they came out a lot more. A lot more interesting than I thought they would.
Yeah,
but,
some of them are a lot darker
is
than
that they all, it's about a load of misfits, and where they're all outcasts and they're thrown together and they find their own place. I call them the Doyle delinquents. Yeah, because that's their fun sort of name for them, because they're always getting into trouble, but they always look after each other. Yeah, and that's the key thing, is that just because you don't find your people within your own family or within where you are, that doesn't mean they're not there. That doesn't mean you can't find them. And and there are people like you somewhere, and so their group is sort of like a whole, and they're all different. They all have their own things. I have a romance author. She was a romance author who gets pulled into it out of nowhere, which I thought was really funny. She's actually writing about another character and doesn't realise.
I'm living it in real life instead.
So it's like she thinks she's honouring him, and he's actually, and then she realises she's actually writing about him, and she knows him. She doesn't realise. So I use it, and I twist it all around. It's complicated.
Oh, I love that.
That sounds like an absolute journey.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those where I don't know how that happened.
We're here now, and that's how it happened.
And we end up so big. But so the key is that bad things happen. Yeah, and that's life. But there are ways that you can get around those. How even there are things where it's like different types of abuse and things like that, and there are like things in there of how they get past that, like with touching and stuff like that, or whatever they do, like exercises and that to try and overcome it. There's different things to help along the way if they want to read it. It's, you know, there are things I looked up and put in to try and make it more useful, I suppose.
Yeah.
I talk a lot.
No,
We are yappers to the max.
that's what we need though most of the time. Like, I love it when an author really like deep dives into research and things like that, because obviously when you read it yourself, you automatically know like this author's gone to town researching everything, and it just makes you feel that bit better of the effort.
I mean, we read one recently that had a glossary of terms at the start of it.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people know what the terms were, and we had the game of how many do you know?
I had a similar thing with my editors. There was I was talking about the crime database.
Yeah.
And I'd called it Holmes, and they were going, "That's not the name of the victim." I said, "It's not supposed to be the name of the victim. That's the name of the database." So I have to adjust things sometimes, where I will use terms that they don't necessarily understand, and they're like, "Why did you put it like that?" So I have to, like, I used a lot of crime scene terms and things like that, where like MCU, for example, you know, which is the Major Crimes Unit. So they have different branches. So CID would take over a scene, so they can go off, and there's like a whole lot of procedural things that I had to go through to get all the scenes where they should be. Who arrives on the scene first? The photographer and the pathologist, and it goes in an order. You have the divisional surgeon that checks it over first to make sure they're dead. There's a whole load of things that I was like, wow, this is actually a lot more convoluted than I thought.
This is a lot more people that anticipated.
I went into all of that, so yay, enjoy that. So yeah.
No, because I like to watch like British like crime documentaries and stuff like that. So when it's put into a book, it like my brain's automatically like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, I have a lot of that. But
My
I
partner
try
works
and keep
within
it.
forensics, so I know.
She's there.
I had a book 5. I was looking for a specific forensic question. I had to change it because I couldn't be sure, and it was about blood bags.
Yeah.
And with the blood bags, and I don't know if you know, with blood bags, they put something in it to stop it from coagulating.
Yeah.
Right. How do they tell if the blood is from a blood bag or not? See, I couldn't find the answer. I tried. I asked people.
I think I only listen to his masters, so it's something to do with the different profiles within it.
Yes. I couldn't find what it was exactly. I knew they added an agent to stop it coagulating.
Yeah.
But when I was trying to figure out how they would be able to tell by doing the blood work, I couldn't find it.
Yeah, you have
somebody knows the answer.
No,
the profiles get like laid on top of each other, and that's how you like match up who's who, or like where's what and what age they are. And I was like, I started listening to his masters, and I was like, this went like this to me. He'll come home and he'll say terms, and I know what he's on about. So I am proud of myself.
I listened.
Yeah, so I went through a lot of different things with that, but I changed routes. So I thought I'll make it easier on myself.
Yeah.
Because I asked questions. I looked online. I Googled. I did an email that I sent to a biologist or a forensic biologist or something. I never got an answer, and I was like, I'm not going to find it. They're not going to tell me exactly how they know.
Yeah.
I know they know, but I don't know how they know.
Yeah,
so I can't
someone knows, but they're not telling me how.
I have a few of those where I was like, that's really annoying. But I went around it, and that's how it worked. And then I had to change everything. It changed all the dates. I was like, oh.
Nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah. I get really into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My brain works like that all the time. They're like, I don't understand how you can think like that. I said, I don't sleep, obviously. That's why.
It just arrives.
It does.
But
Often.
thank you so much for talking with us and letting us have a natter with you
Yeah.
and letting us get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks for letting us get side off. Don't come again.
No, it's been really
thanks for
good.
having me.
Like just the context of the books. I'm already like, yes, let's go to Kindle.
Yep.
I hope you do. I like them, but I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
I think they're all right. They do the job.
Is it? We've got what? How many months? We've got 9 months. I
We
think.
can do
Is it
this.
9? We've got 9.
Book
Yeah,
5,
we've got it.
Book 4's out the end of this month. I've written all 10. It's just
She's
when
already
they're
on her
coming
way.
out, so, yeah,
gone.
they're done. I'm just waiting for them to go through the process to get published, and so hopefully by the end of next year I'll be up to, I think, book 9. That's where I've got written on my calendar where they fit me in.
That's where our target is.
And I think that's October, so it's just before. So, yeah.
But hopefully before we meet you in person at Authors at the Armories, we can read some of your books.
Yes.
And we can have another natter with you as well.
The first one is My Cradle, Your Grave, in case you're looking. Great title. It looks like a really scary woman. If you don't read it,
we were
she jumps
literally
out the
saying,
book and
weren't we,
kills
how
you.
good the covers were.
Yeah, we were like drawn in just by the covers.
Yeah.
When we were
the covers
researching
are.
into you, it was like, oh, those look really good.
I do
Ooh,
have
that one looks good.
That.
Yeah, I've got all but the last one. I haven't got the cover for that yet, but all of the others I have covers for already. So it's
Nice.
I'm excited. I'm easily excited.
Well, we're all excited. We're all excited to get going. To get going with it.
Yeah. Yes. So again, thank you.
I'll let you go.
Thanks for nattering with us.
Yes.
We can't wait to meet you in person
I can't wait.
Authors at the Armories, which is in October of 2025, and we'll see you there.
You will. I will be there.